Hey guys, what's up? It's Millions and Million Books and I'm here with a huge book haul. Holy crap, I have so many books. I haven't done a book haul in a long time. So the last time I did a book haul / got books was February 20th, my birthday. And then just from the 20th on, I've been collecting them for this giant, it was supposed to be a spring haul, but there were a bunch of new releases end of May, so I waited to film this until I acquired those books. I kind of separated them into some categories and we'll see how this goes. I hope this video isn't too long, but I'm just going to get into these books and I'm going to see how fast I can haul this many books. The first category I have here is a bargain book category. These are either from Half Price Books, McKay Books in Nashville, or they were gifted to me. The first book I have here is Can You Keep a Secret by Sophie Kinsella. This is a contemporary novel. I don't think this is YA, but it's about a girl who is experiencing some turbulence on an airplane, so she ends up spilling a bunch of secrets to this random guy next to her, and then she realizes that this random guy is the head of her company or something like that. And I've heard really cute things about this, and it was $2.25. YOLO. I really need to read Sophie Kinsella's books. I have several of them, haven't read any of them. The next book I got is Selected Poems and Letters of Emily Dickinson. I took 2 poetry classes last semester and I really enjoyed both of them, so I thought I would try reading a little bit of poetry for $1. The next book I have is I Heart You, You Haunt Me by Lisa Schroeder. This is a novel written in verse about a girl whose boyfriend passes away and she sees him and he comes back to her. And I really like this. I already read it and I can't wait to read more Lisa Schroeder's books because I really like verse books. The next book I have is another Lisa Schroeder book and it is Far From You, and this is another book written in verse and I actually have no clue what this one's about. I think it's about a girl whose mother has passed away and she gets trapped in a blizzard with her stepmother, something like that. So yes, all of the verse books. I can't wait to fly through this during a readathon, so it looks like I read more than I did. The next book I have was kindly lent / permanently borrowed. I don't know if she wants it back, but Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. My friend Jenna kindly dropped this off at my house when she came to visit, and thanks Jenna. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know what this is about, but this is a new adult novel about a girl and a guy who decide that they are just going to be fuck buddies. And of course things get complicated, and it's Colleen Hoover, so of course it's also really emotional. And yes, that is about it. I read this actually last month in May, so if you want to know my thoughts, check out my May wrap up. I really like this. I also picked up Mini Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. This is the final 5th or 6th book in the Shopaholic series. This is the only one that I didn't have, so I can marathon the series now, and I've heard this is a really cute series. I don't really know what it's about, but I know it is adult, as in just like the age of the character, and they seem cute and fluffy, and I can't wait to read them. The next book I have is White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I really don't know how to synopsize this because Jennifer L. Armentrout books, they always are really simple when you read them and fun when you read them, but then just to explain what they are in a couple sentences is always too complicated for what it is. But this was really cheap. The cover is atrocious, but I really like Jennifer L. Armentrout's books. I know this one has something to do with gargoyles, and that's all I really know is gargoyles, but I've heard good things and this seems like it's going to be fun and addicting, and I love Jennifer L. Armentrout, so I will probably love this book. Given to me by a teacher at a banquet, and it is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I don't really know anything about this either, other than the fact that this is one of the either first or just in general one of the first popular dystopian novels. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, I guess. I don't know if it's the first, but I just know that this is a classic dystopian novel that I think a lot of people who say that they don't typically like the books that they read in school admit that they end up liking this one. So hopefully I will like it, especially because I'm reading it outside of a classroom setting. And yeah, I like dystopian books, so I don't see why I wouldn't like this one. The next book I have is Wings by Elizabeth Richards, and this is the 3rd and final book in the, was it Black City trilogy? I haven't read the first 2 books, but I own them, so I saw this for super cheap, and I'm like, well, if I like that series, I'll eventually buy it, so might as well buy it cheap, so I did, and yeah, I don't know anything about this again because it's the 3rd book, but you know what, it was cheap. And this final book I have from my bargain book section I actually already own, but I wanted this edition of it, and it is The Host by Stephenie Meyer. This beautiful hardcover for $3. This book is probably $30 from a store. I have the paperback, mass market paperback from the movie edition. I have no clue why I bought that. I think it was just cheap at the time and I didn't have like that much money on me. But now I have this beautiful edition. I read this my sophomore year of high school and I really enjoyed it. I actually didn't hate the movie. I should have added that to my unpopular opinions. But yeah, I don't know if I'll reread this. I definitely will if she ever decides to write a second book. Also, if she decides to write a second book that would match this format, and I like my books to match. So, high hopes for book 2. The next little stack of books I have here I categorize as because I wanted them. These were all kind of impulse buys, so I'm, again, gonna get into it. The first book I have here is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. I actually picked this up in May, so if you want to hear my thoughts, check out my May wrap-up. This is about two friends who make crappy films together and they end up getting roped into making a film for one of their classmates who is dying of cancer, and it is really funny and quirky and sassy, and there's a movie coming out and it takes place in Pittsburgh, so I'm like, I have to have that. So yes, I have this now. Next book I have, I kind of bought it impulse, but I found out this author is actually coming to Naperville this summer, so I will get to meet her. And that is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. This is a young adult fantasy novel about a girl who runs away on her wedding day and two men come after her. Her husband-to-be and I don't know if it's an assassin or a man who is hired to go get her. And it is told through her perspective and the two males' perspective, I think, and you don't know which one is which. So when she has interactions with the two guys, you don't know which one she was supposed to marry and which one was supposed to be catching her. So this sounds really interesting. I've heard good things about this, and it just sounds like something that's exactly up my alley, so I can't wait to pick this up and meet Mary in June. The next book I have is I'll Meet You There by Heather Demetrios. And this is a young adult contemporary novel about a girl who works at a motel during summer, something like that. And I think it's a romance, and I've heard good things. I have a friend who I see at signings all the time, and I'm like, hey, pick me out a book. I want to spontaneously buy a book. What is the best book you read lately? And she picked out this. So I haven't read it yet, but I can't wait to because I really trust Katie's opinion. And yes, motel contemporary YA cuteness. I will approve. The next book I have I spontaneously picked up at Target, and it is Seeker by Arwen Ellis Dayton. This author actually came to Anderson's again in April, and I ended up and didn't go, but I have the book, and I don't really know what this is about either. I think it's a young adult fantasy about a girl who's prophesized to become a seeker, or like she's known her whole life that she wants to become a seeker, and she finds out that everything isn't what she expected it to be. And I really don't know anything about this. I've actually heard kind of mixed reviews on this, and I didn't hear that until after I bought the book. So we'll see my opinions of it, but I have it now. And the next pile of books I have are new releases that I've been lusting over for a while. The first book I have here is End of Days by Susan E. This is the third and final book in the Angel Fall trilogy, and I can't wait to read this. I have no clue why I haven't yet. It came out May 12th, and Angel Fall is about an angel apocalypse, and this, as I said, it's the third book in that trilogy. It is the conclusion, and I've heard some people say that it was a little bit of a disappointment, and then I've heard other people say that it's their favorite in the trilogy. As long as there is Penguin and Rafi sass, I will probably completely enjoy it. So we'll see how I feel about it, and I'll probably pick this up in June. I think this is my favorite cover out of all three books, just because I really like yellow, and it's so pretty. I can't wait to read it. Next book I have is Confess by Colleen Hoover. This came out in March, I believe, and I really don't know anything about this other than it's probably new adult contemporary because it's Colleen Hoover. It'll probably be really emotional. I don't really want to read the synopsis because I feel like her books are better going in blind because the emotional things hit you harder because you don't expect them. So I can't wait to read this. The cover is really pretty. I just spontaneously picked it up in Barnes & Noble because my school was having a sale. Yeah, I don't know. I'll really enjoy it. I'll fly through it too because it's quite short. The next book I have I actually kind of spontaneously picked up because I've been hearing a lot of really good reviews for this, and it was some people's most anticipated book of the year, and just some people were excited about it because they thought it sounded really good. And it is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. I apologize for pronunciation, But this, I don't really know too much what it's about other than I'm pretty sure it's young adult fantasy, and I think it is about, or it's dystopian maybe. I think it's kind of maybe a cross of both. It's a retelling of something that I don't remember what it was. I'm terrible, I know, but I've just heard that this is some people's favorite book of the year so far, and people have been raving about this and the writing and the diversity and the amazingness of this, so I'm intrigued. From what I've gotten from what people have described the synopsis as, is it's about this ruling prince guy who marries a new girl either every day or every week or every month or something very frequently, and after every marriage the wife ends up dying, and our main character gets married off to this guy, and it's kind of her meeting him, and I don't know. That was a terrible synopsis, but I've just heard that this is very good and I cannot wait to pick this up. Next book I have is Saint Anything by Sarah Dessen, and this came out in May. I've been waiting a while for this, and I've heard some mixed reviews of this, but I've heard people really like it too. Can't wait to read it. I've been reading Sarah Dessen since I was in middle school, and although I completely understand why her books aren't the best representation of YA contemporary, I think that she's just one of the first, so I enjoy her writing for sentimental reasons. Just Listen by her is my favorite, and this one seems like it's a little bit darker than her books normally are. I don't really know what this is about other than it's YA contemporary. I think it's about a girl whose brother gets in a car accident and that was bad enough to cripple somebody, and it's kind of about her family dealing with it, and there's probably a cute boy somewhere in the mix. But it's Sarah Dessen, so I will fly through it. And I feel an obligation to read her books, so I can't wait to pick this up. The next book I have here is The Wicked Will Rise by Danielle Page. This is the sequel to Dorothy Must Die. I read Dorothy Must Die last year and I really enjoyed it. It is kind of a retelling slash sequel-ish to Wizard of Oz. It's kind of a what-if situation if Dorothy came back to Oz as a tyrant and took over. And this is the second book in the series. And the series is about the other girl from Kansas who comes, and it's up to her to save Oz. But I'm intrigued to see where this trilogy goes. The next book I have is I'm actually currently reading, and that is P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. This is the second novel to All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. I read To All the Boys I Loved Before last year and I really enjoyed it. It's about a girl who, whenever she needs to get over a crush of hers, she writes them a letter and seals them in a box and never mails them. But one day she finds that her letters were mailed and she suddenly has to deal with 5 boys that she possibly has a crush on still, possibly has been over. In general, the situation is very embarrassing for her. And that novel was really cute and funny, so I can't wait to see where this one goes. This is probably one of my most anticipated books of 2015 because I enjoyed the first one so much. It was so cute and fun, and I expect the same from this one. And the final new release of the time period I have is The Heir by Kiera Cass. This is a continuation of the Selection trilogy about a different character. This is about the daughter of the main character in the Selection as she's going through her own selection process. And I actually read this in May as well, and I really liked it, so if you want to know more on that, again, watch my wrap up. But I was pleasantly surprised by this, and you will see that in my video, so check it out. And this final pile I have here is books that I bought because I got to meet the author throughout March, April, and May, and I will just get into that as well. This first book I have here is Tangled by Erica O'Rourke. This is the sequel to Torn. I don't really know anything about these books. I'm pretty sure I've synopsized the first one in one of my other book hauls, but I love seeing Erica O'Rourke again. She is the sweetest person, I swear, and since getting to talk to her for quite a bit, I just wanted to buy this and pick it up, and if I love the first one, which I'm pretty sure I will get to go on in the series with this one. The next book I have is My Life Undecided by Jessica Brody. This sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. This is a young adult contemporary novel about a girl who typically makes some poor decisions, and to fix this or try to help herself, she creates a blog that has a bunch of polls, so whenever she has to make a decision, she has people on the internet vote and decide for her. This sounds like it'll be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to read this, and Jessica Brody was really a fun person, so I expect nothing less from her books. Also by Jessica Brody, I picked up Unremembered. This was actually from a McKay book haul, but I thought I would include it here because I did get to have it signed. This is about a girl who is the only survivor of a plane crash, but when she wakes up and she has no memories of herself or her life. They have barcodes or something, and she isn't registered in the society system. So this sounds like it's kind of like a dystopian sci-fi thing that I'm intrigued. I think this is a trilogy, so we'll see how I feel about it. The next book I have is The Exiled Queen by Cinda Williams Chima. This is the second novel to the Demon King in the Seven Realms series. I have not picked up the Demon King yet, but I did haul it in my winter collective book haul, and I give a synopsis there. And all I know is that this is a young adult high fantasy series about a queen of a queendom and a most wanted thief, and it's a male and a female dual perspective. And I've heard a lot of good things about Cinda Williams Chima, and she was a really cute person, so I thought I would purchase book number 2 to have signed and be able to continue on with the series if I really enjoyed the first book. Next book I have is City Left by Suzanne Colasanti. I met this lady and she is the most bubbly, positive thing that I've ever seen, and she was adorable and hysterical, and I really enjoyed being in her presence. I actually don't know anything about this book other than that it has a really pretty shiny cover, and knowing her books that this is probably a young adult contemporary, I'm guessing it takes place in a city. It's about a bunch of people living in different cities. I have no clue. Young adult contemporary. Can't wait to read this. I also picked up The Ruby Circle by Rochelle Mead, and I don't have any of the other Bloodlines books, but she was doing a signing and I wanted to get my Vampire Academy book signed, so I got this one so I could get my ticket. And Rochelle Mead was super sweet. Judging by the characters that I did get to meet in Blood Promise, I am kind of interested to see what this series has going on for it. So maybe I will change my mind after I finish Vampire Academy. I'm starting to like that series in general a little bit more. So we'll see if I pick up the rest of the series. But I have this one now, so I probably will. And I hope I enjoy it. But the cover is so atrocious. I can't stand it. I also picked up An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I really don't know much about this one either, other than it's a young adult, either fantasy or dystopian, and it's modeled after ancient Rome, I believe. And it is two perspective, a male and a female, and I'm kind of want to go in blind. This was a Booksplosion book for May, and a lot of people have been really enjoying it, and Sabaa herself was super awesome, so I can't wait to pick this up. And finally, my most anticipated read of the spring, and I read it, and I loved it, and it is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I am so happy to finally have this book. I felt like so many people got ARCs and I felt left out. And then she came to Wisconsin, which I actually live quite close to, and I was sad because they said that we had to purchase the book there, so people were reading it and getting it a week earlier than I was, and then I graduated, so I just couldn't read it. But I finally got to pick it up in May, and I loved it so much. This is a new adult fantasy novel that is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, where Beauty is a huntress and the Beast character is a sexy fairy lord, and it is steamy and it is fun, and if you want to hear more gushing thoughts, again, May wrap up. I can't wait for the rest of the series, and it also got me super excited for the rest of the Throne of Glass series, which I need so dearly, and I love Sarah J. Maas. So, anytime that there's a Sarah J. Maas book coming out, it will be in my hauls. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video isn't too long, and I hope I didn't talk too fast, and I hope I didn't give too crappy of synopsis, but overall, yes, I got a lot of books. I have a problem. I like to say that I'm not going to buy as many books in this summer, but I graduated, so that means random family members who I don't really talk to giving me money and me caving and buying books. We'll see what happens. I'll try to keep it down to new releases and signing stuff, so we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much for watching. This is Millions of Millie Books. Talk to you in another video. Bye!